They just reach out to everybody to help them in every way they can.
It's the best thing in the world because they're both right there beside you and will help in any way that they can.
He was just the hands and feet and heart of Jesus to our family.
He told me when things were okay. He led me down a path that I hadn't gone down, but that's what Spring Creek Ministries does.
I'm Lonnie Hamil.
And I'm Donna Hamil.
And we'd like to introduce you to a ministry that we started back in October of 2011. We are a regional mission that works primarily with those with long-term illnesses and the terminally ill.
We also work with families after the loss of a loved one and help in whatever manner we can.
But it's not only limited to extreme situations. Sometimes we work with those that have non-life-threatening situations also.
Several months ago, our daughter Deidre Skyped us and told us about the doctor had found a tumor inside her spine, on her spinal cord. I put a deal out on social media asking for prayer for her. Lonnie picked that up and with Spring Creek Ministries, the day we came up to the hospital for the surgery, Lonnie was there. He provided warm blankets for us. The hospital was cold and we went in just before surgery and Lonnie went in with us as well, and we prayed over Deidre and over the doctors and it was just, and then during surgery, Lonnie was there but never left us.
We help them from doctor's care into hospice. We help that transition. We help them get comfortable and understand what's going on and what's involved. And then sometimes we're involved at the end of life stage.
I received a phone call from David Watkins, who is a good friend of mine and a supporter of the ministry, and he had been working with a family, Harvey Payan, and Harvey had throat and tongue cancer, and they had been there to support them and love them. And David called me one day and said, Harvey's passed away. And he said, Cindy needs help, some things that you can do that I can't do. So he actually texted Cindy, and he sent me a text, a group text, and introduced us, like that. It was kind of different, but she texted me and said, yes, please come over, let's visit.
They stepped in when my husband passed away. I was just bombarded with every situation you could think of, and they helped me so much.
The first thing that I noticed was Zaniel, who is Cindy's son, 6 years old.
And Zaniel was not sure what was going on, and he started bringing out dinosaurs, and so we started having this dinosaur conversation where he was a little bit more calm, and it gave Lonnie the opportunity to talk with Cindy and see what it was she needed, how could we help.
One of the things that they needed was just a place to feed the family after the funeral, and they had been calling places and they couldn't find anything available.
I was having a time finding a place to have a reception hall to have the food and stuff after the funeral. There was no problem with that. The ministry, they found a place for us.
We know that when we go into these situations, we cannot fix anything. We are not there to heal anyone. We are there to help and give comfort.
In times like these, when people are under so much stress, it's very hard to make decisions. So we come in and offer some balance to the situation and try to help them think through what is the best thing to do.
I never really understood exactly what it is that Lonnie does. I know that Spring Creek helps the terminally ill, it works with the families, but I never could really fathom what that entailed.
David Watkins called me one day and out of the clear blue and just said, Lonnie, I am headed to Lubbock as fast as I can get there. My son, David Jr., has been airlifted there, and he is on complete life support.
Lonnie with Spring Creek Ministries showed up a day after I got there and took care of many, many of my affairs. And I really had the opportunity to have a hands-on experience with him at that particular time.
When I walked in, of course, David was pacing the floor, and David Jr. was laying there with a ventilator going, and we just hugged for a few minutes. Just hugged him and told him I loved him and asked him if he would just share with me what had happened, and he did.
He helped me make decisions that had to be made, gave me another viewpoint on how I might look at things. He worked with staff at the hospital and shielded me from having to make too many decisions all at once, or too many decisions that I might not have been really clear on.
With all of the things that were going on, people coming in and out, there were so many decisions that had to be made. But one thing that I've learned through the ministry and working with people is we can take a break. And I just told David, let's go downstairs, let's go out front in the sunshine and just talk for a minute. And he said, can we do that? And I said, of course we can do that. We can do whatever you need to do.
And he took care of a lot of things outside of the hospital for me. I remember I had booked an extra hotel room, and Lonnie just took it upon himself to go down there and tell them I didn't need it, and they refunded my money. I never knew about any of that until after the situation was over.
What I want people to know is that there are times when there is no words to be said. There's nothing left to be done. All we can do is be there.
They're heaven sent, and when they say they're going to do something and help, by golly, they do it.
When we started the ministry back in 2011, our focus seemed to really fall on older folks, people that were shut-ins and things like that. But sometime into the ministry, I was at church one day, and we'd been praying for a young man, a little boy. His name was Marco, and it dawned on me that his family might need help too.
My name is Arturo Lamelli, and I'm from Crane, Texas. It was April 29, 2012. My 7-year-old son was diagnosed with a brain tumor. From there, everything went downhill, and it was 16 months of fighting with no victory on our end.
So I talked to the family there and just asked, could I check on them? And they said, we would love for you to. So Jacob and I, my son Jacob was working with me at the time through the summer, and we loaded up and drove to Lubbock, and that was my first experience with Marco. Marco was already on full life support at that time. Arturo came in while I was doing that, and he looked at me and he said, Lonnie, I promised Marco I would never give up.
One of the days they gave us those bad news that you don't expect, and me and Lonnie got together and we talked for a while, and I told Lonnie, I promised my son I will not let him go. I will never give up on him.
We visited and talked a lot, and I just tried to help him through the process of figuring out that letting him go was not giving up.
And Lonnie, with the great experience that he has and knowledge about the Bible, he made me understand that just because my son will be in a better place, and that place might not be with me, but with Jesus above heaven.
This organization is very, very worthwhile. I don't think it's extremely well known, but I think that over time it will come apparent.
This ministry that we feel like we are called to do is full-time and 100% funded by donations. The difficulty we have is that our donors may not see the end result like they would in giving to a foreign mission.
For any mission work to be what it needs to be, it just takes funds. And because of that, we have to find people who are willing to partner with us. We have to find churches, organizations, businesses, anyone out there that is willing to invest in something that is mission-oriented.
Anybody out there that has not heard of this ministry, you need to look into it because it's wonderful, and you will be blessed double, giving to those that you know you're going to help. In return, you're going to be blessed.
I just hope people realize the mission of this organization, the love of the people that's behind it, and I hope that they would want to get involved in that. Prayer-wise, prayer is very, very effective. I hope they would want to get involved financially with it and support it financially.
So they're of great value, and I'll continue to support them in their endeavor.